So the Caitlin Clark at Nike situation is one of the ones where she absolutely is now the player that Nike are going to be promoting more than anyone. I don't think the fate... I'm not going to say the fate of Nike is on Caitlin Clark, because I don't think the fate of Nike is on Caitlin Clark. Obviously, she doesn't have that much importance. However, I think the fate of signature athletes at Nike does rest on Caitlin Clark, because, let's be real, if you look at the NBA's most worn shoes, the signature athlete...
Nike's blockbuster unveiling for Caitlin Clark was never just another sneaker drop. It was a calculated, high-risk bet with the power to redefine the future of signature athlete lines. From the moment her exclusive shoe debuted, it was clear the goal went far beyond moving product. This launch signaled a decisive shift in Nike's strategy and its belief in the strength of individual athlete branding. If Clark's long-awaited line falls short of expectations, reports indicate Nike could dramatically scale back or even abandon player-specific signature shoes altogether. That reality makes this release a true make-or-break moment, not only for the world's biggest sportswear brand, but for every emerging athlete chasing a signature deal. The pressure surrounding the launch extended well beyond sneaker culture, sending ripples to the broader sports, business, and marketing landscape.
At Nike does rest on Caitlin Clark, because, let's be real, if you look at the NBA's most worn shoes, the signature athlete that's on them is irrelevant. If you look at their most sold by you shoe, the signature athlete is relevant. Why? Because the most sold is the Sabrinas. No offense to Sabrina, she's not more popular than LeBron. She's not more popular than Kevin Durant. She's not more popular than Giannis. But her shoe looks like Kobe's, and you can design them so she sells a shitload. When it comes to Caitlin Clark, if her shoe line fails, I wouldn't be surprised.
The pressure on Caitlin Clark is enormous and reaches well beyond raw sales figures. Nike is placing a massive bet on her, fully committing with personal, highly visible touches, from custom cookies at headquarters to branded coffee art and her logo displayed throughout the campus, making it clear this is far more than a routine endorsement. This launch marks a strategic turning point for Nike, with the future of signature athletes beyond a small group of global icons potentially hinging on Clark's success. If her line underperforms, it could accelerate a major shift back toward broad performance models like the GT Cut or Hyperdunk, rather than costly investments in individual player brands. Such a move would reshape Nike's profit strategy and significantly affect how future athletes are marketed and compensated.
A shitload. When it comes to Caitlin Clark, if her shoe line fails, I wouldn't be surprised to see Nike moving away from the signature line outside of very small amount of athletes. I think she'll stick, but I don't think we see a fringe superstar like a Booker getting a signature line. Because if you look at, I'm just trying to think back in the day that actually got a line. There was Kobe, there was LeBron. So I think during the 2000s, was it just Kobe and LeBron? It might have just been...
Take Sabrina Ionescu's signature shoe as a model for success. It didn't become a top seller because her name rivals LeBron or Giannis in global fame, but because the design tapped into what players actually want. Kobe-inspired performance, a clean look, and deep customization options. That example underscores a key truth in the sneaker world. Aesthetics, comfort, and versatility often matter more than star power alone. For Caitlin Clark's first signature line to succeed, Nike needs more than her massive following. The shoe has to connect on a broader level, something athletes want to lace up no matter whose name is attached. Ultimately, it's the quality and appeal of the product itself, not just the athlete behind it, that decides whether a sneaker truly wins.
That's right. Literally, she has taken over the biggest sporting apparel brand in the world. As of right now, their focus is on Caitlin Clark. And I think it couldn't come at a worse time. The hype in the WNBA is next to zero. I still think Caitlin Clark sells out whatever she releases. It could not have come at a worse time. If Nike had managed to figure out this logo drop and released the logo in 2024, which, by the way, There is no way this logo took a year to design. There is no way. Let's make it look like
The consequences of a potential flop will be immediate and far-reaching for the WNBA. If Caitlin Clark's signature line struggles, the chance of another WNBA player ever landing a signature shoe could vanish altogether. Nike could easily come to the conclusion that if Clark can't move product, no one can, effectively closing the door on future investments in women's signature footwear. That's what makes this launch a defining, once-in-a-generation moment, not only for Nike, but for the entire women's basketball ecosystem. It represents a rare opportunity to prove that female athletes can generate global merchandise demand at scale, and one the league simply cannot afford to squander.
and released the logo in 2024, which, by the way, there is no way this logo took a year to design. There is no way. Let's make it look like Chanel, except the two C's face the same way. There's no way that this logo was not ready in 2024. If they had released the logo merch in 2024, it would have, every piece of it would have sold out in seconds. In seconds. And then you could have went into 2025. Signature shoe's still not there, but then you could go and release the lifestyle range, because obviously this right here, apparently people were asking Caitlin about the jacket.
Nike's timing for this high-profile reveal has sparked heavy criticism, with many saying it came at exactly the wrong moment. The peak of Caitlin mania in 2024 has already faded, and had Nike unveiled her logo and initial merchandise during that surge, nearly everything likely was sold out instantly, fueling massive hype and urgency. By waiting, the brand may have missed a critical window, potentially giving up the kind of explosive, immediate demand that could have propelled Clark's line to an elite, untouchable level from the start.
Clark's not still huge. It's not saying that this stuff won't sell out, but I'm saying that there's not going to be it's not going to be a frenzy. Like, if this stuff came out in 2024, there would be people queuing outside shops to buy it. And for anyone saying that like the Caitlin Clark hype has died down, the hype has not died down. Caitlin Clark is super popular. She's super famous. People will tune in to watch Caitlin Clark. The mania has gone. Like, Steph Curry never lost his fame, but there was never a Steph mania like in 2016. Everything Steph touched turned to gold. Steph was so big that Under Armour became the second biggest.
The difference between fame and mania is crucial here. Caitlin Clark is still a major star with widespread popularity, but the once-in-a-generation frenzy that defined her college peak has naturally cooled. We've seen this cycle before. Steph Curry's 2016 peak mania helped propel Under Armour past Adidas in the US market, and even LeBron James experienced a drop in mania after 2016, despite remaining globally iconic. Because of Nike's delay, Clark's signature launch now arrives in a market that values and supports her, but no longer carries the white-hot, around-the-block intensity that could have truly defined and elevated this moment.
Steph Curry never lost his fame, but there was never a Steph mania like in 2016. Everything Steph touched turned to gold. Steph was so big that Under Armour became the second biggest sports brand in America solely because of him. It overtook Adidas. It was closing in on Nike because of his mania. The Caitlin mania is over. Partially due to injury, partially due to the league imploding. It's like the league has been imploding. Partially due to, those two things. The injury and the league imploding. The overall interest in women's basketball has gone down. And with the overall interest in the sport going down, with other things, like in the attention economy.
Nike's timing issues are further intensified by outside factors, including the WNBA's ongoing uncertainty and persistent lockout speculation. For more than a year, discussion of potential work stoppage has loomed over the league, with players such as Angel Reese publicly stating they would be willing to sit out if negotiations fall short. These unresolved league-wide concerns have helped cool momentum around women's basketball, creating a less-than-ideal environment for a signature shoe launch, one that relies on peak hype confidence and sustained positive attention to break through on a global scale.
They reached that level of impact with this. And I think their timing has been horrendous. I think their timing of all this. And to say, they couldn't have guessed that there was going to be a lockout. Really? People have been talking about it potentially being a lockout for a year. Like, it's been a year since Angel said on her podcast, if they don't pay us, we're sitting out. It's been over a year. So at the end of the day, look, it is what it is. Hopefully all's good with this, and hopefully it sells out, and hopefully the shoe is nice. Hopefully the shoe is nice. At the end of the day, the shoe is the one thing it's going to release in Europe, and I will gladly buy that shoe and do a short 30-second review so it can be a business.
Caitlin Clark's long-awaited CC logo has already ignited debate, with many pointing out its resemblance to high fashion branding. A clear signal that Nike aims to position her not just as an elite athlete, but as a full-fledged lifestyle icon. Bold design, however, only succeeds when paired with flawless timing and execution. And that's where questions begin to emerge. Today's signature sneaker landscape is more crowded than ever. What was once reserved for legends like Kobe Bryant and LeBron James now includes a deep roster of stars such as Kevin Durant, Kyrie Irving, Giannis Antetokounmpo, Ja Morant, and Devin Booker, making it increasingly difficult for a new line to truly break through. Adding to the challenge is the absence of a clear release date and the slow rollout of lifestyle apparel, both of which sap momentum at a moment that demands maximum impact. Global reach is another critical concern. Even highly successful signature models, including Sabrina Ionescu's, remain difficult to find outside the United States, limiting their worldwide influence. If Clark's shoe fails to reach Europe and other international markets in a meaningful way, Nike risks placing an artificial ceiling on its own potential. While her devoted fan base will almost certainly drive sellouts, this is unlikely to be a true frenzy moment, the kind of overnight lines and cultural takeover that might have occurred at the height of her hype. The financial stakes could not be higher. A disappointing performance would give Nike incentive to save millions by scaling back athlete royalties and returning focus to general performance models like the GT Cut or Hyperdunk. The red carpet treatment Clark has received at Nike headquarters underscores how heavily the brand is invested in this gamble. Yet mistimed execution, league uncertainty, and cooling mania have created a volatile backdrop. Ultimately, this launch is about far more than a single sneaker. It's a referendum on the future of Nike's signature athlete strategy and the global commercial power of WNBA stars. The entire industry is watching to see whether this bet becomes a breakthrough or a warning sign.